What the pandemic has taught us about money. Now, I live on an island. So I live on a United States island. I am from the continent United States. I'm from the Big Island. But we learned some things going through the pandemic. But before the pandemic, we experienced a hurricane, category 5, all 5 of them fingers. It decimated the island. The water system, down, destroyed. The electrical system, down, destroyed. Cellular, down, destroyed. All these infrastructures had to be built up. It was incredible. We were basically out of water. Water came back on quicker. Water came back on in like 2 weeks. But then electricity in many places didn't come back up for an entire year. Electricity did not come up for us for like 4.5 months. We were out of electricity. Now we had things like generators, we did solar systems and things like that. But the comfortability of having, the power system coming from the city into the house, we didn't have that. So that comfort just didn't exist. But we learned a lot of things going through those experiences. And that is money ain't nothing. I mean, seriously, money ain't nothing. Now, let's speed it up to the pandemic, something we can all relate to. All of us have had this pandemic experience. Now, I can recall before the pandemic, I would see people in the grocery line and they would have like a food card, like food stamps. They would have these food cards from the government. And for whatever reason, their reason, it's none of my business, they would use it to get food for their family and themselves. What's wrong with that? I don't care. No problem. There would be people in the line complaining. And I have had many, many friends make this exact same complaint. They would say things like, those people just need to get out and work. Everybody that has a food card, it's not about the ability to not work. It's not about that. That card is just one simple thing to buy food. Money is for spending. I'm going to keep saying it. That card is for buying food, spending money on the card for food. So everybody's circumstance could be different. Somebody can have like a disability, they can have a bad back, they could have just not had a job. It's their business and they're taking care of it. But then people would grumble in line and say things like, that's my tax dollars. Guess what? They pay taxes too. As a matter of fact, when they get through that grocery line, they'll probably go over to another store and make a purchase. And guess what? They're going to pay taxes on it. Some of that money actually goes, and yours too. You like the road you're on? Tax money goes to a lot of different things. But I would hear people in a discriminating way talk very negatively about these people who had these food cards. Pandemic comes, half the country out of a job, gone. Guess who was first in these lines getting like the boxes of food? Those same complainers. See, now they're in a different world because they put so much emphasis on their money. And they're getting cards, and they still have cards. Pandemic's still going on at this point in time of this video, and people are still finding ways to get that card, the people that were complaining. It's amazing to me because here is the deal. Money means nothing. The money you have today could be wiped out just like that. The job you have, the business you have, the means that you have to support and take care of your family, it could be gone just like that. So you know what's more important than the money? The value of an individual. Value. We've talked about value in this message today. It's the value. What are you worth? What is the person with you? What do you see in them as their worth? Not the dollar signs, because the dollar signs are going to go away. We may have another situation. I mean, we got terrorists, we got a crazy world, we got people in the government that can't seem to agree on anything. We've got a lot of challenges that the world is faced with, and it's everywhere all over the world. So if your hopes and your dreams are all rested in the power of money, you can learn some lessons from a lot of people who just put that money thing on the side and says, you know what? Let's just live and love. Live and love. And that's how they went through their day. They found food because guess what? Everybody eats. Animals eat every day. Everybody eats. Believe what you want to believe. But people eat every day. And if you miss a day, guess what? You can go people do fasting where they just drink water for like 100 days and they survive. Water is the most important thing. I mean, when they got that water back on after the hurricane, we were relieved because I'm telling you, Water is of more value than a cell phone and electricity and cable. I need water. People do fasting 7 days, 10 days, 21 days, 40 days, 100 days. I mean, all the time. So if you're hungry for a period of time, guess what? Your body has systems and mechanisms and all kinds of control things that are going on to restore you to a better health than you were when you were eating food. Because every time you think about it, when you eat some food, how do you feel afterwards? You don't feel so good, do you? Because our food is not of the quality that it used to be. Neither is the value of money. It's just not where it was. So if there's anything you can remember from this message that we're sharing today, and yes, this is my opinion, don't put such a high value on money in a relationship. Put a higher value on love. And we're going to do a video on the power of love in a relationship. What that really, really means to love a person, to feel that deepness, that depth within an individual, and why some people never aspire to that. Why they just can't really commit. They commit in words and they commit in the duty, the function, but they don't commit in heart. We'll talk about that in a later video. But that's just my point with this message. Don't put such a high value on money. Change the way you feel about it. Men and women feel differently about money. But when we go through things like a pandemic, you can't buy your way out of it. The money is zippo. I remember having hundreds of dollars in my pocket walking down the street after a hurricane. There was nowhere to spend it. Nowhere to spend it. So money is not everything. Sure, it's up there with oxygen, but it's not oxygen. Remember that.